Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to another episode of the greatest football podcast on all of YouTube. What is that? That's the Ballin In Burgundy podcast. Yeah, myself and Chris are in the building. Chris, what's going on?
No- Nothing too much, nothing too much,
Hey,
to
the
say the
draft.
least.
Hey, the draft is over.
On
We got some UDFAs.
this.
Hold on. All right, sorry about that, guys. A little technical difficulties, but it's me and Chris in the building. We got a name to look at as one of our UDFAs. We got some new stories coming out about a 2027 date, and we got some free agents that I think are going to be connected to Washington, and one name fans are still clamoring for, despite the fact that draft is already over. But are you ready, Chris?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Before we get into anything, guys, don't forget like, share, and subscribe here on BIB. Road to 1,000 subscribers are on its way. We're sitting at 540 subscribers right now, so hit that subscribe button, hit that post notification bell every time that we upload. Instagram and TikTok at Ballin In Burgundy Podcast, Twitter at BIB Podcast 22 because Twitter hates long usernames. But Chris, as of a few minutes ago, it is being reported that as when this video probably drops, current President Trump is going to announce from at Axios that he's going to announce a NFL Draft 2027 in DC.
Hmm.
I don't know how much I believe it because the NFL spokesperson is declining the comments.
Huh. It'd be it'd be interesting if that happens. Letting the president of the United States announce that there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a draft in Washington, D.C. in 2027. Where are they gonna do it?
At
Ooh, they could probably do it on the National Mall.
exactly where does that be? National Mall.
That'd be the only
I
place.
it only wouldn't be Northwest right now, but I wouldn't hate it. I would try and go.
Yeah.
I would try my darndest to go. But if not, that's an easy live stream for you boys.
Yes, it is.
That's a very maybe I go up do some live stream and draft parties. You never know.
But just to go at least there and experience a draft live,
Oh, so good.
and hopefully we're Super Bowl champs by then.
Hey,
I
bring some
mean,
attention.
yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. All right. Well, you and I have kept up with the UDFA news. You and I have kept up
Yeah.
with some of the names. One individual who has caught the press in a flurry for not being drafted but getting picked up by us. Louisville wide receiver Ja'Cory Brooks.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, started his career at Alabama, worked his way onto the field, becoming one of Bryce Young's weapons during that 2022 season, got injured in 2023, transferred to Louisville, and this year racked up, about 1,013 yards, 9 touchdowns. Gus can do some work in the punt and kick return. Not at 6'2", 186. You're about a 4.65, so not your fastest guy, but brings some size to the receiver room, and is someone I think could be fighting for a spot come August. How do you decipher that?
Um, I think this guy, yeah, he very well could be fighting for a spot come August. A lot of people are going to be fighting for a spot come August, but this is just another weapon added to the room. Which what that makes it now Terry, Debo, Noah, Luke,
KJ, Jalen,
KJ, Jalen,
Noah, Noah Brown,
Noah Brown.
and now Ja'Cory Brooks. Not to, and then like your Chris Moores of the world, like it's someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't hate it.
No, I wouldn't either.
It he
Um,
he he technically would be like the biggest receiver in that room, being a 6 foot. ESPN has a 6'3". They have places that has him listed at 6'2". I'll call him 6'2.5".
What is Terry? 6'1"?
Uh, Terry's like 5'11", my friend.
What? No, I thought he was 6 foot.
Terry McLaurin is 6 foot even. My apologies, 6 foot even. But even still, Brooks would be the biggest receiver on the depth chart if you look at just height wise.
Mm.
Which
Yeah, and you know what? It would be good, not to cut you off, but it would be good because if you throw a fade and he's that tall, he has a good chance of getting
yep.
it, you know. If you throw
Mm-hmm.
him like a Pierre Garcon fade or a
Yeah.
Jordan Reed fade, he can get that.
Yep. Oh, and Michael Gallup. I forgot about Michael Gallup.
Oh yeah, him too.
But Michael Gallup. Um, but even if he just becomes a practice squad guy, he's gonna warrant some attention at the PS level because teams are gonna want someone who's got size, decent speed, can use in the punt return game. The way Jalen Lane was at V Tech, who we drafted fourth round pick 128. Not the biggest flashiest guy on offense, but what is a lot of his highlight tape and what was his draft call about? You were the top punt returner on our board.
Yeah.
Well, when you run a 4.35 like Jalen Lane does, he's going to be your new De'Ami Brown. People were just comparing him to Deshaun Jackson. I don't think he's quite there yet.
No.
But in terms of speed, they were comparing him, which I totally understand.
Yeah.
So you get Brooks in here, he would be, I don't want to say an upgrade over a KJ or, a Crowder or a Gallup, but someone young, someone to develop, someone you can use on special teams early in his career if you want to save Eckler or Jalen or someone else for offense. It's not a bad idea.
No, it's not.
Mm-mm. And I'd be all here for it. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's talk about what the thumbnail, what the title of this episode's about. The free agents that are left on the market that we should look at, and mainly in two positions, but let's primarily focus on one. You know where we're going, Chris.
Defensive end.
Defensive end, edge rusher, pass rusher, whatever you want to call it. Someone to get to the quarterback to knock him on their ass. Because looking at our depth chart, it's Cleveland Farrell, Dorrance Armstrong, Dietrich Wise, Jacob Martin, Andre Jones Jr., Javante Jean Baptiste, and TJ Maga Urenga.
It, you know, to be honest, I saw a Logan Paulson thing the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, if those guys can at least stop the run off of the ends, they'll be fine.
Yep.
If they can get to the quarterback, it's even better. But just to stop the run, at least, it's gonna help.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think what uh Washington needs to do is they need to go sign uh a vet to a cheap deal. Give
Mm-hmm.
him the league minimum deal.
Yep.
1 year, 1 mil. Let them, play, see how they do, and if they do good, bring them back for 1 more year. But then after that, cut them. Let them
I can see
walk.
that. I can see
And
that.
that's what they need. I think because like I said before in the past, letting Dante Fowler walk is gonna hurt. It's going to hurt this team. And so I think if you get like a Von Miller, a Za'Darius Smith, a Preston Smith, former Redskin, by the way,
We'll talk about those names.
I think you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. I agree. But let's go individually, and there's gonna be four names I want to talk about. Three to UDFA or three free agents, one trade.
Okay.
Let's start with these free agents. Let's start with the aforementioned Von Miller. 36 years of age, 14 years in the league, hasn't produced big time name stats. 4 sacks for Buffalo last year in 13 games, a sack in 12 games, 3 sacks in 12 games, 8 sacks in 8 for the Rams. But it's Von Miller.
Yeah,
You're always due for a double team, or someone's going to look at him and say, oh, I've got to prepare for him. That leaves someone on the other side or coming up the middle to take care of him.
exactly. And it's not even that he's just getting double team, is that it's also that I think his time is coming to an end
Yep.
in the league and he's getting older, so he's not going to get off the line as fast. None of these guys that we're going to mention probably are going to get off on the line as fast as they once did.
Yeah.
Um, I like Von Miller? Yes. But is he getting old? Yes. So maybe don't maybe actually get him for, like I said, the league minimum,
Yeah.
the 1 year, because then at least you have a potential threat on the defensive side of the ball,
Mm-hmm.
on the D line right there, other
Yep.
than Wagner and Louvu.
Luvu. Yeah.
Um,
I think he's going to cost more than the league minimum. I think he's going to warrant like a 12 million type
I feel
contract.
like this overpaying him. I think
It's it
anything. I get it's Von Miller, but I think anything over 7.5 is kind of overpaying him at this point.
okay. I can understand that. I can understand that. So then where would you sit on a Za'Darius Smith?
As Za'Darius Smith, I think anywhere from if you don't give him the league minimum, I think you give him anywhere from 7.5 to a 8.5, maybe.
I think if they came out with like a 1 year 10 with like 7 guaranteed, I could stomach it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. Plus, how old is Za'Darius at this point?
Za'Darius Smith is 32 years of age.
That's actually not as bad as I thought it
He will be
would.
33. He'll be 33 come September. So the start of the season he'll be
Oh,
33 years old.
okay. So then maybe give him the 1 year, like you said, the 1 year 10 mil, 7 mil guaranteed. Uh, yeah, and just let it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let it go
Let it
from there.
and just let it ride.
Yeah.
Again, someone who's not going to knock your socks off, right? 4 sacks for Detroit last year, five for Cleveland in 8 games, 4 sacks. 9 games for Cleveland, five. 16 games for Cleveland, five and a half. 16 games for Minnesota in 2022, 10. Is he also on the downtick? Possibly. Is he going to be a world eater? No. But he's someone who can help with the run. And if he gets to the pass, great. And it's not going to kill you on the financials.
Yeah. And not only that, if you look at the defensive line we had last year, Dante Fowler signed to a 1 year deal. Unfortunately, he walked.
Yep.
Bobby Wagner, we signed to a 1 year deal. He came back. I think we signed a couple more people to a 1 year deal, and I think they kind of did. They come back?
A few did, a few didn't.
Yeah. So it's it's uh all right value for a low cost.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what we did last year, and surprisingly, it worked mostly because of who our quarterback is. But in a way, it worked.
Yep. Then, with that being said, what would you think about someone who I proposed last episode in Matthew Judon?
Um, I That
You're like,
that
nah,
one
I'm good.
that one's kind of tough because it's not that I don't like him. It's just if he's also in his 30s, you're
A,
taking the
l-
chance.
a lot of the guys left are gonna be in their 30s. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. A lot of these guys are in their 30s, and that's the problem here because let's say they go down with an injury, then we're screwed because we
Yep.
don't know how long it's going to take to heal.
Heal.
And if we're trying to be in this Super Bowl window like we think we are,
Mm-hmm.
then we need something now, you know. But
Yeah.
then again, you take that chance with everybody of getting injured. You
Mm-hmm.
do. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, you take calculated risk,
Yep.
and that's what we might have to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot of young names. James Houston, O'Shea Zimes, Carl Lawson, James Smith Williams, Jonathan Bullard. Like, there's not a lot of young names left. However, one guy fans are clamoring for before the draft, during the draft, after the draft. I still see it on my timeline. Someone, some fans want to give up a round one pick in 2025
Nice.
for a third round pick and Bengals star edge Trey Hendrickson.
I, you know what? I'm not mad if we were to get him, but
We don't got
whatever,
much. We don't got capital left.
yeah, whatever we have, we don't have much left, and whatever trade cap we have left,
Not a whole lot.
I don't know what we can do.
What we have is a first, a third, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh next year. 5 picks.
Again.
Again. Now it's spread out even more. First, a third. So now we're skipping the whole second round. A fifth, a sixth, a seventh. We're skipping around four.
Mm,
Because I remember those. That second and that fourth went to that Laramie Tunsil trade.
yes, it
Now,
did.
they would say you give up 20, whatever the first round pick is for Hendrickson, and maybe we get back a third from the Bengals, right? So you'd have 2/3 to kick off to end day two, right?
But the problem is you have no future at that point.
Now Hendrickson is younger, much younger. He's only I say much. He's 30 years old. He just turned 30 back in December.
Mm,
But let me read you his 4 years in Cincinnati since he got brought in after he left the Saints, right?
hmm
2021, 14 sacks. 2022, 8 sacks. But he also missed like 2, 3 games.
Yeah.
2023 and 2024 back to back, 17 and a half sacks.
Did he
He's a
get a sack on Jaden when we played him?
I wouldn't doubt it. He's averaging a sack a game, back to back seasons.
I mean, I say take the chance on him. I
Okay.
do. But once people leave certain teams and get to other teams, and this is where the calculated risk comes in, people people tend to kind of dive down a little bit.
Hmm.
And it's just like you say all this because either way the fans are going to turn heads. They're either
Yep.
going to be like, "Okay, this is a good trade if he produces well," or people are going to be like the Marshawn Lattimore trade and say, "Oh, this was a bad trade because whatever, da da da
Yep.
da." And that's what people tried to do with the Marshawn Lattimore trade. That wasn't a busted trade, by the way. I think if he works out next year and he stays healthy, he will be fine, and we
Yeah.
successfully win the trade. But as of right now, to get Trey Hendrickson, I I feel like it would be fine. And, to be honest, it would help the defensive line tremendously.
It
It would
would.
help. It would help Johnny Newton. It would help Deron Payne.
Pain.
I, but I think if we were to get Trey, I think him and Johnny Newton would be. I think Johnny Newton would break out next year.
I think it would definitely help Newton's case of you took him in the second round, although his value was there. He was projected like top 20 guy. So his value was there, but it's like is the risk worth it to say, "Hey, let's trade our first rounder for the guy." You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the
So,
problem is there. Then you have no future. You don't, because how are you going to earn that back?
yep. It's something we're gonna have to look into if and a lot of these fans don't understand that it's not as easy and clean cut as some people are making it. It's not gonna go away very easy. The cap is gonna would hurt because you're not to trade for him and then sign him to a long term deal. That's what he's looking for in Cincinnati, long term deal.
And not only that, you still have to sign Jaden to a long term deal if he keeps
We've
playing the
got another
way
like
he does.
we can hold that. We're gonna pick up his fifth year option guaranteed, so we've got 2.5 years left on that. We've got time on that, but gonna have to pay Terry.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna want to pay Terry, and you know what? I think this is Terry's last year
It's his
on his
last year
deal.
on the deal.
But I think there were talks back during the season last year, trying to get an extended deal
Mm-hmm.
with Terry. Uh,
That's the
so
idea.
so hopefully you start doing talks now. I would actually start doing talks now. Try to get a deal done,
Yep.
work something out,
Yep.
and give Terry, because I think Terry wants to be a Redskin or a Commander for a long
For
time.
life.
Yeah, I think give him a 4 or 5 year deal.
Yeah, Terry wants to be a lifer. He has expressed no interest going to other teams. If he could retire in Washington in the burgundy and gold, and if he retired at the end of Jaden's rookie contract, so in 3 more years, he's got a few
Uh,
Pro Bowls. He's got a
yeah,
trip to the NFC Championship game. There could be another one in there. There could be a Super Bowl trip in there. Can't say he's not.
exactly.
You can't say he was a bad receiver. He's been one of the most consistent for years.
And not only that, he never complained.
Nope, he's not a diva.
He never complained, even when we had, all the way from Case Keenum to Kyle
Yeah.
Allen to Taylor Heineke to a one-legged Alex Smith, you know,
Hey, Alex Smith
all
was
the
put in
way,
that. Alex Smith
all
was
the
put in
way,
that work.
yeah, all the way to Sam Howell to now Jaden Daniels. You
Hmm.
know, you like this guy never complained once.
Nope.
So we'll see, but I think he'll sign like a 4 or 5 year deal. If anything, he's our generation of Art Monk.
Mm.
He really is.
Okay. Oh, all right. I can see that. I can see that. I like that a lot. But do you think it's even if you had to give a scale of 1 to 10, how plausible the Trey Hendrickson trade is going to go through? I'm gonna give it like a 1.
Yeah, I give it like a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
I don't either. Did you? So off topic, real quick, but did you happen to see the video of Howie
Adam,
Roseman calling?
hey buddy, hey buddy,
Hey, there's gonna be some in division attacks.
tax. Hey, but they were trying to trade up because Atlanta had swooped in for James Pierce. So if they got any further, Adam could have said, "I want a third to move up a
Yeah,
few spots." But here's the thing, and we can talk about this for a second. The Chiefs went Josh Simmons, right? And they just signed him to his 4-year, $14 million rookie contract. Josh Simmons, a tackle at Ohio State. If we traded back to 32, Chiefs could have easily taken Connerly.
Oh yeah, they could have.
Could have easily taken. So then I would have left us with Josh Simmons, which still would have put us in a frenzy for 5 minutes until Herb and everyone and we started talking about the pick because we all wanted Mike Green or Ezeraku. Simmons had injury concerns.
Yeah.
That's why he fell a little bit. So if we had gone with him, we would have said now our right tackle, both Coleman and Simmons, young, developing, but somewhat injury prone. We all have been sitting there like, what? Something. So we're missing something.
Yeah.
But no, I found it absolutely hilarious. I enjoyed it, and then when they heard we took Connolly, he was like, "That's a great pick for him."
I I wasn't a fan of it. I either wanted Will Johnson or
Mike
Mike
Green.
Green. Yeah.
Yep. But
Speaking of Will Johnson, where did he end up going?
he went round two, pick 47 to the Cardinals. So he still went to the Cardinals like I had predicted. He just went around later. So they got great value for him.
Damn. I
Great value.
that's why we took Trey Amos. I think if Johnson was there like if he hadn't got picked
Possibility.
by the Cardinals, I think we would have taken him there.
Possibility. But Amos is still a dog in his own right. So I'm not mad at
Oh
the Amos
yeah.
pick.
Hey, I'm not mad about that pick either because we needed some help. If Lattimore can play like he, you know, did
Can.
in his New Orleans days, and Sanders still can keep playing the way he's been playing and even get a little better, and then you get Amos, who hopefully is a dog. Yo, this secondary,
Plus Jonathan Jones.
play, yeah, him too.
Yeah.
And then not only that, if our safeties can step up, if if we can get Gabe Taylor on the roster and he steps up,
All right. All right. Now you're dreaming a little bit, my friend. But there are, I'll say, three names I want to throw out there as free agents who I think can help increase this roster. And I will make this quick.
Okay.
Guard Dalton Risner to help out with the Cosme size hole because you're gonna have Allegretti and Coleman on the inside with Herbig in the back. Risner brings experience.
Yeah.
Julian Blackman, safety. Brings in more speed, brings in more depth behind Will Harris and Quan Martin. And Tyler Owens, my guy.
Yeah.
But the other name, who's also on the thumbnail, Justin Simmons.
Damn, he's a free agent.
He is still a free agent.
And he's a hard hitting safety.
He is a dog.
Oh.
31 years old. Yes, so he's a free safety. Yes, whatever. 2 interceptions on the year, 62 total tackles, 7 passes deflected. Just an absolute freak. He is a true free safety, and he was paired with AJ Terrell corner last year in the crew. But him, Will Harris, Quan Martin.
And don't forget, Quan Martin played with two
Separated shoulders.
I don't
Insanity.
know how.
Sheer resilience and fortitude.
Bro,
Dog.
bro must have had something injected into it.
I think he just went out there and said, forget the pain. They're already separated. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Unless he tore him off the bone, be like Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
Hey, let
Hey,
me tear him off the bone.
hey, let me tear him off the bone real quick. But with that being said, I just think it's going to be a free agent edge rusher that's going to be picked up. It could be here in the next week. It could be all the way until training camp. We've got a lot of time
And the schedule drops next Wednesday, bro.
Scheduled jobs next Wednesday, which that'll probably be on the latest edition of the Burgundy Breakdown that night. So you're gonna get real quick reactions from me, from Juan, from Reedy, from Z.
I still think the first game is going to be Washington at Philadelphia. Opener,
Ooh,
revenge game, and we go in there and beat them.
okay, all right. Well, with that being said, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Alrighty. Well, guys, that's going to wrap things up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on the Ballin In Burgundy podcast YouTube channel. Road to 1,000 subscribers. It's on us. We're starting at 540. Takes 2 seconds of your time to hit that subscribe button and that post notification bell. Let you know every time that we upload, and it's absolutely free. Instagram and TikTok at Ballin In Burgundy podcast. Twitter at BIB podcast 22 for any live and in real time updates. Instagram and TikTok are your best friends. Go follow us there. All those links down in the description. Let's continue to raise hell this offseason with the news of a 2027 draft in Washington. Oh boy.
Hopefully it's true.
From everything that's coming out, sources say it's true. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. But with that being said, guys, let's raise hell. Let's see how this plays out. But don't forget to stay ballin'. We will see y'all out there.